Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our program. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Laurie Burton, who is with Laurie Burton Training. Welcome to the program, Laurie.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, so as your business name suggests, you are in the training business. So before we get into what type of training, tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into the entrepreneurial world.
I spent 30 years as an actor, and I learned through my teacher. He taught. I was with him for 12 years actually, and teaching and learning to be a much better actor than I came in. But he also taught at USC, and through my 12 years with him, he left USC at one point and asked me if I wouldn't like to take over his class. And at that time, I was really ready and felt very solid and about what I could offer these kids. It was really a directing class. Then I realized one day as I was watching a woman on television talking about working with people, training lawyers and doctors to speak or be interviewed on television, I thought, oh my gosh, I've done so much work in front of a camera. I know much better than she does what it's like to be tongue-tied, filled with tension when those questions come your way. So I started Laurie Burton Training and was also teaching at USC at the same time.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you found something that you had immense background in, and then it hit you one day, if I needed that and learned that and was good at that, I wonder if other people as well. And so the other piece that I really picked up on is that you started doing that while you were teaching at USC. And the interesting thing there is that's a form of authority and credibility building. So if someone were looking for a coach or a trainer,
yes,
why wouldn't they choose someone that's got 30 years experience and is teaching at USC? So I think that's a really interesting piece in that pre-frame is for them to realize that you are what you say you can do for them, you're doing because you've been there, done that, and you're teaching other people how to do it at the university level.
Right. So I thought to myself, this needs to go into the corporate world.
Yeah.
Marketing and sales. Oh, my goodness. So that's where I've spent a lot of time in the last 30 years, and individuals as well. This work, everybody needs a little of this work, some more than others. But it's so powerful.
Yeah. My wife teaches school, and one of the classes she teaches is sixth grade speech, like middle school speech.
Yeah.
And it is horrendously important to get used to getting up and doing a 2-minute speech in front of people because, like you said, in the business world, you might be sitting at a staff meeting and the CEO says, Fred, give us an update on your projects. Well, depending on how Fred responds, even coming from it from a point of authoritative confidence, if you are meek and mousy and kind of stumbling through your words, maybe the results of that project you're working on aren't as well received as they could have been, given an authoritative and confident presentation, even off the cuff, just, hey, what we're doing here is we've accomplished and what we're in the process of doing, and next week we should have the ability to on this project. People then leave that 1 or 2 minute little update going, he knows what he's talking about.
You bet. This work goes everywhere. No matter where you are, one-on-one or at a team meeting or giving a speech, presentation, whatever it is, you're just out with your friends. How do you hold up the conversation? Are you reticent? Are you intimidated? It's a life skills.
It really is, and it's one of the skills that I think is overlooked. Have you found that as well?
Oh my goodness, yes. They teach everything except how to be comfortable in your own skin and how to present yourself and make the most out of your personality and where does it live and how does it come off. My goodness, that should be part of every high school and college for sure.
It's interesting. when you mentioned that, it makes me think of kind of like in the marketing and in the business world, that it really is something that it ties into like a customer avatar or an ideal customer. So you want to create a really just a good picture of who your ideal customer is. But interestingly enough, for that ideal customer to get interested in what you have to offer, maybe you need to create a little way, and I like to call it story selling, but a way of selling yourself, your personality, your business, and your products to that target audience in a unique way so that it becomes memorable. Is that a part of kind of how you're coaching your people into how, I mean, you can easily read bullet points about yourself and going, okay, now what? But it's how you present it.
You bet. And when I say to people, what's unique about you? Or in all my seminars, I have everybody make a list of 10 things they're passionate about. Well, they get to about 3 and they can't go any further. They don't know. And passions lie at they're the very essence of what supports our presentation. You know, it's if you come out and if you're speaking about a marketing report, but if you really have tapped in before you start, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about my granddaughters. Oh, God, I love them. They're so wonderful. If you carry over that intention into your marketing report, it adds a lot of color. So you can keep those things. This is what actors do. You know, they have something that's going to be at the core of this moment that they're a part of, whether it's anger or joy or whatever. It's a choice that you've made to support the scene or the moment.
You know what? And it's interesting that I love that correlation between the scene, the moment, and you know, I've watched and followed Michael Port's career, and I'm sure you are pretty familiar with him as well.
Michael Port. Why? I probably know the face and not the name.
A couple of his books are Book Yourself Solid. He's a coach and author, but he came out of the acting world. But he does a speaking conference, and I watched one of his videos, and it's very, very much like what you're saying, where, you know, it's kind of like a scene. And in reality, how do you let your bad day at home not carry over to your work? Or how do you let your bad day at work not carry over to your home? Maybe it's that frame of mind that here's my scene, I'm on the business side of it, so everything else is blocked out, and I need to focus on, and I am this person at, and I think that you can get really bunched up into that and really get too you don't want to have too much imbalance. But I really think that being able to find out that storyline of who you are and bringing that passion and enthusiasm into what you're doing really does make those kind of those normal interactions a lot more vibrant. So can you speak to kind of some other areas that you brought some of your acting experience into training people in their business life?
Well, my point of view is that life is a performance. That we're constantly, and you gave such a wonderful example, is that we may not be feeling that great that day, but we have to go out there and give that marketing report. So make that choice. Know that, you know, the best example, with the first corporation I went into, the gentleman who interviewed me said, I said, and I don't talk about it a lot, but we do some acting exercises. He said, we don't act here. And I said, yes,
everybody acts.
Yes. You answer on the phone and you say, hello, how are you? And you say, I'm fine, and you're feeling dreadful. That's acting. So it's embracing your emotional point of view and learning to express it with emotional poise. That's what carrying over, that you can call it acting or whatever, but if you get up there and give a marketing report and you say, hi, everybody, I'm here. I know you might think it's going to be boring, but it's not, because I'm going to bring a little entertainment to you today.
You know, and in using that as an example, because I think it's perfect. You know, you're in the business world, you train corporate. If you ever want to see a funny YouTube video, do a search on the death of PowerPoint. Have you ever heard of that one before?
No. No, it sounds
just Google or go on YouTube, The Death of PowerPoint, and it's this
will.
comedian that I think he came out of IBM or Microsoft, but he was in just meeting after meeting with PowerPoints, and so now he does this stand-up routine about how every PowerPoint meeting you've ever seen has these characteristics, 428 bullet points per slide. And the point is, if you can interject some levity and some humor, maybe not, humor all the time, but just something that breaks up that presentation, and think of it even like just a laugh break. I mean, right in the middle of your marketing PowerPoint, you put up a picture of your puppy, and all of a sudden people are like, what? And you're like, hey, just thought we'd like to have a little break about, and let's get right back to it. And the point is, I think that really can just kind of get people and keep their attention, and that's important in meetings. And I would also suspect that there's things that you would train people to do in acting with your dynamics and your voice and your volume of your voice. And when you bring your voice down, people tend to pay more attention. So I think it's really interesting how that has so many business and corporate applications.
Oh, it does. Yes.
Yeah, preaching to the choir. So what inspires you to do what you do, and then what do you kind of do to help bolster that passion to inspire them to go out and do greater things? So what kind of got you on this path? Of course, after what you mentioned with you spent years in acting, but there's got to be a why behind that too,
It's watching people actually change in the moment, to have a realization that if I do that, oh my goodness, I can't believe I use my hands that much. And then I say, yes, and what are they taking the place of? The emotions behind the words. You're trying to have your hands express them rather than your face and your eyes and your voice and your emotions. So I love it, helping, some people. It's not for everybody because it goes very deep. It's at the core of who you are, the way you express yourself. But I just love doing the exercises and watching people respond, getting them through that very difficult part of the exercise where they want to shut down, but they will do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wow, am I blessed. It's just, I love what I do. And to have
it's really something that they can apply in the real world, not just, hey, I taught you how to do welding, which you might do twice a year on a piece of project in your garage at home. This is something that has personal relationship impact, business relationship impact. So it really is something that that you're able to see have so many facets.
And yes, and what one of the coolest parts is I have an exercise where I ask people to look in a mirror and to talk about from their head to their toes, what they love about their face, their bodies, and of course they start off with the negative right away. But I say, oh, you don't like your nose. No, it's too big. And I say, well, are you going to have a nose job? No, I don't think so. Well, then I say, can we make friends with that nose? Because they walk in carrying that insecurity, and it colors their speech, their talk. Or if they're too heavy, they're worried about people are going to notice how heavy. Of course they are. Can you live with that, or are you going to lose weight? I don't know. Well, then make friends with it. Acknowledge it so that it doesn't lead. Instead of you leading with your energy and your animation, it's so important. It colors everything these people are doing. That if they have something that they are insecure about, it takes away their confidence completely.
Yeah, I think that you teach on or write about a personality workout. Can you go a little bit deeper on that and explain how that is integrated in with some of your trainings?
Well, when I say to somebody, for you for instance, how many people do you know that could use a personality workout? How many do you, Mike, know? Do you know some people could use?
Well, with that, hopefully you won't ask me to mention names, but I'm sure that I can come up with, definitely 5 or 10.
Everybody says, oh, yeah, and that's the way they say it. And people do. They need to work out their personalities. They may be shy, or they may be the boisterous one in the group, the one who's always on. But people and it has to do with everything we've been talking about: your emotions, your animation, your sense of confidence, your self-esteem. So we work out that through, again, exercises and looking at and videotaping and watching that little tight bud open up and start to bloom and take on new colors. It's all about finding different colors as well. Just think if you could do a speech in the color red, what it might look like. Or if it was just colored by blue, it would take on a whole different way. I've been using colors a lot in teaching people, like just, okay, come in, say your name and tell us what you do in the color yellow. Because they may have started out by saying, hi, I'm Laurie Burton. And so let's bring that up and make it yellow. Oh, hi, I'm Laurie Burton. It can add a sense of a freedom, just going with the colors, because we attach so much familiarity with two colors, with colors. So,
yeah, I think anything that's different will stand out. Like, I'm sure many people in the boardroom are not used to being talked to about colors and how they speak. Mm-hmm. But when you explain it to them, I'm sure that then kind of the light bulb goes off and they start now catching on and seeing how that exercise will impact them.
And it gives them permission to take it to, yellow. Okay, I can do yellow. Okay, let me try. Mm-hmm. So it's just, rather than my saying, why don't you just try it this way? Make it more lighthearted. And they go, what?
Well, have you ever seen those memory experts that I was at a conference once and this memory person gets up and walks you through this whole, okay, look over there at that door and that is going to be, and they have all these little things. And then at the end of his talk, he goes, okay, and he rattles up all these things and the whole audience is like, boom, 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 boom. And you're like, how did I memorize that? Because you made associations. So I think that is another element of how your trainings can work, because when you can associate something with color and with some of the various things, that really helps it to retain longer than just you being there working with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We do all kinds of wonderful things to get people freed up. And they're doing things they never expected that they could do and express themselves in ways that they never thought they were capable of. So they've just stretched this. This is an instrument. Our body is an instrument. And I'm teaching these people how to play it. And they're finding just going, wow, I can do that. Yes, you can.
Have you ever heard of the reticular activator?
Yeah. Where have I heard that?
It's a part of your brain, and basically, without getting the pure medical, true, exact definition, it's basically the part of our brains that once you've been made aware of something, your brain will remind you of it. So, for example, let's say that you just bought a brand new blue whatever car, right? All of a sudden, you're driving down the road going, hey, look, there's my car. Hey, and they were always there. You just weren't aware of them. It just wasn't, part of your perception. So I think that's many times these things you're teaching people, like, oh, I didn't know I used my hands so much. I didn't know that if it's presented in that positive way, then that reticular activator kicks in their brain for, down the road after you've long gone. And now it's prompting them to go, yeah. You don't need to snap all the time. You don't need to use this. And I think that that's a nice, word picture of how actually things are getting done in our brains. Yeah,
very interesting. That is, you're going to buy this car and you see it all the time.
Yep, but they were always there. You drive the same route to work all the time, and they were there. You just weren't noticing them. So, hey, wrap us up with some of the main programs and main things that you provide to in your trainings, and how typically you are working with your corporate clients.
Typically, we usually work in a 2-day seminars with 10 to 12 people. And one of the programs, as I mentioned, is one is the power of confidence. Another one is the personality workout. And then we have another one called Speak, Present, and Communicate, which is aimed more towards that what it's like to go out there and give that speech and make an entrance. And just that whole thing about making an entrance and owning the stage is mind-boggling for people. So those are three that we're working with right now. And so it's really an emphasis on who you are, how you're coming across. Are you crossing an imaginary line that separates you from the audience with your energy and your passion and your emotions? That's really... Did you understand the imaginary line? There's an imaginary line between the two of us right now. And I've been hoping to cross that with how I'm describing what I do with energy and animation. So that's our job all the time, even if it's one-on-one. So in a large audience, you have to push that energy out there in that animation.
Sure.
Reach it. So, yeah. Did I just
neat. So how can people learn more about your programs and find out if that would be a good fit for them?
It's LaurieBurtonTraining.com, and Laurie is Laurie. LaurieBurtonTraining.com.
Training.com. Excellent.
Yes. And I have a book, Presenting You, it's called, and it's on Amazon and also on our website.
Perfect. That's really excellent because I love how people can learn in different, some people want to read, some people want to watch. I know you have videos. And so, it's just any kind of way that people can interact with your brand. So definitely would encourage people that would be interested in some of these unique business communication trainings to check out your website. And I just want to thank you for your time today. It was wonderful getting to know you.
Yes, it was much too fast.
Yes. Well, you have a great day, Laurie.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.